Hello, my name is Stewart Beck, and I'm the President and CEO of the Asia Pacific Foundation of Canada. This is coming close to the end of my second year at the Foundation, and it's been a really interesting and wonderful year. It's great working with the staff, and I'm particularly lucky to have a wonderful board of directors, including our new chair, David Emerson. The rise of Asia is creating opportunity for Canada, and the Foundation's role is to explore those opportunities and explain how Canada can better engage. We are looking at an Asia that will represent 40% of global GDP by 2020 and 64% of the global middle class. How do we explain that? How do we better engage with Asia? What is it that Canadians need to know and understand? Is it about business only, or is it about the politics and economics of the region? These are all key issues that the Foundation has been exploring over the last year. Understanding Asia is critical for Canada, and the board in its wisdom asked the Foundation to produce a strategy for the Canadian government, the new one that was coming in November of last year, to help them engage better with the region. It's not a one strategy for one country approach. It's a strategy for the region as a whole. It's flexible. It defines the various elements for us to engage. And that's why it's called a Building Blocks for Canada-Asia strategy. This strategy we have now taken across the country, and we briefed it at the provincial level, but also at the academic and within civil society. We hope that this will create a much more long-term strategic approach to a region of the world which will become more and more important to Canada and Canadians. Another exciting event for the Foundation this year was our move from our old office on West Pender Street in Vancouver to West Hastings. It's an older building, it's a heritage building, but the space inside is really quite wonderful. And it was designed to convene, and that's one of the important functions of the Foundation. So this year, besides our convening function in Toronto, where we have the Asia Leader Speaker Series, with some well-known Asian speakers coming in talking to typically a financial services community in Toronto. We had a good session with Jingming Li, who is the CEO of Alipay. We talked about e-commerce and the importance of e-commerce within Asia and how Canada can connect better to that. Vancouver, we have a wonderful space. Quite frankly, we've had a number of senior people here to talk about the importance of various elements of Asia. And also we've had Canadian politicians. Our Minister of International Trade came here, and we did a roundtable on TPP. We brought in academics, business people, and former diplomats who've had experience with trade policy. And it was a really good, robust conversation around the pros and cons of an agreement like that for Canada. So the convening function is something that we do, and I think we do quite well. And this was the best, perhaps, example that we did this year was the Asia Business Leaders Advisory Council. This is a council that was set up by the Foundation to bring 13 CEOs from Asia together with 13 CEOs from Canada to talk about what is it that Canada needs to do to better engage with Asia. And the three main agenda items for that one-day meeting here in Vancouver was our brand and how that brand is perceived in Asia. What are the trade and investment opportunities in Asia? And then how do we better use the networks? And how do we use the people that will help us to connect into the influencers in the various regions of Asia? I'd also like to give you an update on what we're doing with the Asia Competence Project. Last year we started this project that was approved by the board, where we took $1 million from the unrestricted funds of the Foundation to build Asia competence in two particular areas. One, how do we create curriculum at the high school level so our students are introduced at a younger age to ancient Asian civilizations? This has been moving forward quite rapidly. We now have modules ready to go for the September program in 2016 with the BC Ministry of Education. The second half of that of the money that was approved by the board is going to post-secondary students, a fellowship program which will allow students to go and work for 4 to 6 months in Asia. Again, this is we're working in BC on a pilot basis with University of British Columbia, Simon Fraser University, BCIT, and University of Victoria. Also, we've included University of Ottawa because they really wanted to engage with what we were doing. And in fact, the first student that we have placed in Asia was a University of Ottawa student who went to Hong Kong at the end of May. So this is a good example, again, of collaboration with our academic partners, and our hope is that we will be able to scale this program up with private sector funding to run with the funding that the board has approved for this initiative.